Welcome to Your Mac Life for Wednesday, the 21st day of May, year 2014. This is show number 1009. I'm your host, Shawn King. Thank you guys very much for joining us here this Wednesday evening. If you're tuned in live or any other time you have me tuned in via the archive or any other method that you may be listening to the show. As always, we've got live video for those folks who are tuned in. If you're listening to the archive, you should join us at least once a Wednesday to check it out. The live video is available up on YouTube. We have a YouTube channel for those folks who are interested. You do a search for Your Mac Life, and you can get our archives all on the YouTube channel, so you can watch all these videos, even if you are not watching it live on Wednesday evenings. Also on the website, yourmaclifeshow.com, on the front page is the YouTube video. At the bottom below that is the IRC channel. And you can always join the IRC channel. It's really easy to get it set up. Our good friend Monty down there in Atlanta, Georgia, has set up the IRC chat room as easy as it is possible to be for you folks to join into the live IRC channel. If you are a traditional IRCer, like a lot of folks are, you can use we're using the server irc.chat-solutions.org, and we're in the Pound Your Mac Life channel. On tonight's show, we're going to talk to our good friend Jim Dalrymple from The Loop at loopinsight.com. A little bit about WWDC and the alt beard party he's putting on at WWDC in a couple of weeks, among other things. We're also going to be talking to the folks at Social Print Studio. Something I've been saying, or noticing and saying, we take more photos than ever before, and yet we physically have fewer photos than ever before. So the folks at Social Print Studio, website printstud.io, print studio, printstud.io, is trying to help you out. I was having someone's asking about a good printer for photos, and it's tough to get it at, you can buy an inkjet printer for under $100. Inkjet printers nowadays are almost disposable, but they don't print off photos particularly well, especially if you don't use the right paper. It's one of the keys to getting good photos out of your inkjet printer. You can't just use the same office paper that you buy at Office Depot or Staples. You've got to use printer paper. And the other issue is a lot of us don't print very much anymore. And if you leave your inkjet printer sitting for a week or 2 weeks or a month, the little micro heads get clogged up and the ink gets useless. So a lot of us only need to print every now and then. So I saw this company, Print Studio, socialprintstudio.com, and did an interview. It's a recorded interview with them about their services. And it's kind of cool. They print off things in 4x6 and in mini prints and in books, posters, frame stuff, magnets, T-shirts, all kinds of things that you could possibly want printed. And I really encourage folks the photos they take that you really, really like, have some of them printed off and give them out to friends and family. Don't just post them on Facebook. Don't just give them up that way. I mean, one of the things you could do is print them off by 4x6s and use them as your postcards. You can just, postcard doesn't have to be a postcard. You can just put a stamp on the back of one of these photos, write your little note, write the address, and send it off. The mailman will deliver them. So we'll talk to those guys about their service and how you guys can use it. Also, this past weekend, I went to the Bloedel Conservatory. It's a lovely little conservatory here in Vancouver in a place called Queen Elizabeth Park in Vancouver. If you go to our website, the Starting Point Photography website, flickr.com/photos/starting point, you'll get to the Flickr page for Starting Point Photography, where you can see all the photos that I've taken as Starting Point Photography. And it was a lot of fun. Now the downside of the conservatory is it's fairly small. A lot of you are going to have backyards that are bigger than the grounds of the conservatory. You can walk it easily in 5 minutes. If you just did a quick lap, you could do it in 5 minutes. But they've got such a wonderful wide range of animals, tropical plants, birds primarily. I think it's only birds. I didn't see any squirrels or anything else like that. Birds and flowers and plant life from the tropics. It's just a beautiful, beautiful space. And if you're taking photos, you could spend a lot of time there. We were there for about an hour and a half, 2 hours on Sunday, just hanging out and taking pictures. And so we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the fact that my friend Leslie is an iPhone shooter. And so I brought my Nikon D600, which I bring everywhere with me, and the lovely little Olympus M1. And I'll tell the story later, but she took some great shots with the M1. I was very impressed, but she was blown away by how good the shots were that she took out of the M1. So we'll talk about that later on in the show. So there's that, and there's something else. I said this earlier during the pre-show. I cannot remember what the hell else it was that I wanted to talk to you guys about. Oh, by the way, if you're an eBay user, go change your eBay password. If you're an eBay user and are going to go change your eBay password, use 1Password. It was mindlessly simple for me to change my eBay password using 1Password. And to create a password that was just, go ahead, here, try to hack this. I mean, the eBay password was, like, I think 20 characters long. I'll never remember it. I can't remember my eBay password, but it was easy to fix. And it's bulletproof for the most part and unhackable. So definitely go change your eBay password if you use eBay, and you use 1Password. Mosquito asks, how long is Olympus loaning you those cameras for? That's a nice period of time so far. I'm not asking. I'm not so stupid as to say, hey, do you want these back? Do you want the $1,400 camera? I'm not asking them that question. When they want it back, they'll send me an email saying, Shawn, send the camera back, and I will grudgingly. I actually took a class this morning. There's this website called Creative Live that offers all kinds of different classes, very much like lynda.com, except these guys do these live classes, free live classes. CreativeLive.com is the website. And it was a class about the Olympus M1 camera. And they have a live chat room going on, and it's a very professionally done video. It was really, really nicely done. I learned a lot of neat things about the M1 that I didn't know from reading the manual or from playing around with myself. And it's nice to get that opinion from a professional photographer on the other end saying, hey, do this, do that, and here's the reasons why. If you get a chance, check it out. CreativeLive.com is the website. See if there's something of interest there for you. As always, we love you sending us emails. You can send us emails to the show at onair@yourmaclifeshow.com. If you have any comments or questions or anything else along those lines that you want to have us talk about on the show, onair@yourmaclifeshow.com. And as always, we ask you guys, beg, plead, cajole, whatever it might be, for you to go to the website at yourmaclifeshow.com. On the left-hand side, there is a button there where you can donate to the show or you can subscribe to the show. If you subscribe to Your Mac Life, you will be able to subscribe at a $2, $5, $10, $15, whatever it might be, per month. That comes to us, and it lets me spend it on bandwidth and Bloedel Conservatory tickets and lunch and things like that. One of the fun things that we did, I think one of the reasons why we have so much fun, or I have so much fun with the Olympus M1, is the wireless. I've talked about this before. The ability to, so we go shooting for an hour and a half, and then we go to lunch. We go to a local pub. And we're sitting there in the pub, and I set the camera up to wirelessly send all of Leslie's photos. She shot with the M1. I shot with my Nikon D600. Wirelessly send all the photos to the iPad. And then while we're sitting there having lunch and having a beer, we're going through the photos on the iPad and deleting the ones that weren't any good, the ones that were obviously blurry. And, you know, she's an amateur, she's a beginner, so she took significantly more bad pictures than she did good ones. That's to be expected. I took a lot of crappy photos too. But being able to look at them right there on the iPad was really kind of cool. And then, because you guys know I love Snapseed, being able to use Snapseed in those photos right then and there, and then upload them to Flickr or email them to someone or post them on Twitter or things like that was really kind of neat. I really love that ability of the M1. And I'm really thinking the next time I go, I keep bringing the Nikon D600, and it's a big camera. I mean, I can barely pick it up with my bad wrist. So there's the Nikon M1, or a Nikon D600. And here's the M1. You know, the physical difference is obvious. That's from the side. Oh, from the top, you know, it's 50% smaller. From the back, you can kind of see the difference. This is a big, heavy, wonderful camera. I love this D600. You could not take this D600 away from me. But I'm thinking the next time I go out shooting, maybe I'll just take the M1. I always take the 600 as my, my security blanket, my backup plan. But I'm thinking the next time I go, maybe I'll just take the M1 and see if I can get good shots with the M1. It means I got to learn more about it. That's one of the things I tell folks in the class is you got to learn about your camera. For example, when we were at the conservatory, I was having trouble getting a particular shot. If you see the pictures, there was one of the big scarlet macaw parrots, and this thing is probably 6 feet long. It's a huge, huge bird, the tail and everything. And the macaw was getting a shower, and this bird loved the shower. This bird was just parting his little birdie butt off in the shower. It was so funny to see how much fun this bird was having in the water. It was dancing around and moving around and just having a great time. But I probably took 100 shots of this bird, and 75 of them just didn't come out. But as I played around with the shots with the camera, I realized I got this set wrong. So I reset it, took a bunch of pictures. I got this set wrong. I reset, took a bunch of pictures. It wasn't until I changed a bunch of settings that dealt with the light conditions that were there that I finally got it right. And that's because I knew about the camera. None of these shots were shots, by the way, that we could have gotten with an iPhone because the birds are all set back. There was only one picture of one bird. See if I can't get the picture. It was a very, very pretty peach-colored bird that you could have gotten with an iPhone. And it's this picture here because this was the only bird that was literally within arm's reach that we got a good picture of, that we could have reached out and touched this pretty peach bird. But for the most part, an iPhone just wouldn't have cut it with this quality of images. The flower shots, obviously, we could get some good shots of flowers, but when it came to shooting this wildlife, we couldn't have gotten these shots with an iPhone, and probably not as good quality with a point and shoot. So we'll talk about that again a little bit later on. Mosquito says, I tried playing with Snapseed a bit on my iPod. It really needs an iPad-sized screen. Yeah, you do. If only because, Mo, one of the things I found on the iPhone, anyway, was that the shots, when you started doing edits on it, it was real easy to go overboard with the edits on the small screen of the iPhone. You really couldn't see the detail and couldn't tell when, for example, you were blowing up the highlights or creating a halo effect, an ugly halo effect on your images. So yeah, it really doesn't work. You can do the basics on the iPhone, a little brightening, a little sharpening, a little saturation, but for the most part, to get a nice artistic image, I wouldn't bother using the iPhone. It definitely needs, at the very least, a iPad screen on that. And it's a shame that the app is so relatively uneasy to use as a web browser. You can upload your photos. That's the problem. You have to have a Google Plus account. You have to upload your photos to Google Plus, and then you have to use the Google Plus browser, not Google Plus browser. You have to use your browser to then manipulate the images. It's just not as easy and intuitive as it is on the iPad. Now, I'll take photos off my camera, off my D600, and then put them into Dropbox, and from Dropbox, open them on my iPad to edit them, as opposed to editing them on my laptop screen, because the Snapseed app for iOS on the iPad is so much better and so much more fun to use. So I definitely encourage you folks who use iPads to download the Snapseed app. Again, it's free. It's a free app. You might as well try it out. It's really easy to use, fairly intuitive. You're not going to know what any of the buttons or settings are. You just flick around and move your finger vertically and horizontally, and you'll see results right there on screen, and you'll see whether or not you like those results. He says, yeah, I can't see very much in the small screen well enough to use it properly. Also, I'm getting used to taking my iPod around for taking opportunistic pictures, but I do miss having higher resolution point and shoot. Yeah. Something we talk about all the time is that idea of knowing the performance envelope of the device you're using. You know, if you can't expect your iPhone to take all the kind of pictures that you can visualize, that you can see. You've got to know that, all right, this is not going to be a good iPhone shot, so either you take it and know that, or you just don't bother taking it. But the other thing, part of it is you have to wait for the right shots. It was kind of funny when we were walking around. I don't know what kind of bird this is, but it had a beautiful, beautiful plumage. It's lovely plumage. Bright neon red and deep dark black and white coloring. And I saw this sign, and I waited and waited probably a good 10, 15 minutes for this bird to walk over to the sign so I could get that keep out staff only picture. It was just, now this is a shot you could have gotten with the iPhone. This bird actually came out onto the street, the little pathway that we were all walking on. It was one of the few birds that was wandering around wild, I guess. But I waited until the bird got to that one spot and probably took 10 pictures right there of the bird. And it looks like a turkey dressed up for a formal dinner. Yeah, I don't know what kind of bird it is because it was walking around. It wasn't a plaque next to it or anything like that. I'm not quite sure exactly which kind of bird it was. But it was a very pretty bird, very friendly too. It walked around, didn't seem to be scared of people or worried about people or anything like that. It was slow, but it took his time wandering around. But he was very cute. That's the Bloedel Conservatory here in Vancouver. If you ever get a chance, it was cheap. It was like I think $6.50 for an adult to go, and it's the grounds too. It's not just the conservatory that's $6.50. The grounds are free, so you can walk around these beautiful. I think it's called the Natobi Gardens in Vancouver. So the whole area around there is just really, really pretty. It's up on a hill. Queen Elizabeth Park is a beautiful area. There's lawn bowling there. I want to go back and shoot the lawn bowling one day because I'd love to be able to shoot folks doing lawn bowling. There's all kinds of things to do in the general area of the conservatory. It's under construction now, but the outside of it is. You can still get inside and see these beautiful pictures. The other fun thing was that because I posted these on Twitter, they got the folks from the Vancouver Parks. One of the Vancouver Parks commissioners retweeted my photos, and the Friends of Bloedel Conservatory retweeted them and told me how nice they were. It was kind of cool. It was kind of neat to have the folks at the conservatory saying how much they enjoyed the photos. Again, email onair@yourmaclifeshow.com. Oh, by the way, we've got to send shout-outs to our good friend Lauren Finkelstein, the official Jew of Your Mac Life. It's his birthday tomorrow. Yay! He just sent me a picture posted in the Your Mac Life Flickr page. For those folks who use Flickr, go to facebook.com, do a search for Your Mac Life, and look who he had dinner with. He had dinner with the lovely, our very own Lesh. Yay! So Lesh and Lauren were hanging out in New York City. Nice to see Lesh there with a big happy smiling face, and Lauren without his tie. He's been doing this Flickr thing where he's got a different knot on his tie. So there's that page on Facebook, facebook.com. Again, do search for Your Mac Life. And there's a Starting Point Photography page on Flickr, too, if you want to go there and see what we're up to on Flickr when it comes to startingpointphotography.com. And also stories up there on Starting Point Photography. The Starting Point Photography website is just beginning when it comes to stories, so there's not a whole lot up there, but I'm putting stuff up there as I get to it. Just waiting for Jim. I didn't send Jim the link. Damn, that's what's taken Jim so long. Damn it! I'm sure that Jim Dalrymple. I see. Remember, I said there was something I was forgetting to do. This was it. I was forgetting to send Jim the link. I've been sitting here all from like 5 o'clock on, racking my brain trying to remember what the hell I forgot to do. There's a series of things that you do before the show. Starting at 4 o'clock, I do these series of things. And that's what I forgot to do was forget. I'm sitting here waiting for Jet Dalrymple to show up. That's because I forgot to send him the link. Oh, and now what's going to happen is Jim's going to show up in the IRC, in the Google Hangout and berate me, because that's what he does. That's what Jim does. He's going to mock me and make fun of me and all that kind of stuff. Aren't you, Jim? And all that kind of stuff. Aren't you, Jim? Why can't I hear myself all of a sudden? Oh, God damn it. I have no audio. No audio. Why don't I have audio? You can hear me, yeah, but I can't hear myself all of a sudden. I should be able to hear myself. There we go. Jim Dalrymple has joined the call. Jim, you there?
What?
Hello. How are you?
Hello.
Hello. Nice ceiling.
Yeah. What's new?
You talking to me? I can't tell. We're talking to the wife.
I'm talking to you.
Okay, good. How you doing?
Good.
First story, Surface. Do you care?
I think that we all should really care about the Surface, which I'm sure is not the answer that you expected from me.
It is not the answer I expected. Why should we care about the Surface?
Well, it's not just the Surface. Care about all of these new products that are coming out. The Surface, and I'll say again, I gave Microsoft credit when they first came out with it, just blatantly copy Apple. But I think that Microsoft showed in the first couple of Surfaces that and I wondered what they were going to do for the third one. As it turns out, they were going to do the exact same thing. So that's why I was interested.
What do you think of it? Did you watch the presentation?
No, I'm not that stupid.
Yeah. I did think some of the images that came out of the presentation were really kind of funny and kind of interesting, with folks talking about how it seemed that the presenters were sort of poking fun at all the MacBooks and MacBook Airs and MacBook Pros that were in the audience with them. Do you think that was the right way for Microsoft to go about this? Was sort of poking fun at making fun of the Surface, making fun of Apple's products?
I have no issue with Microsoft making fun of another company. I mean, God, Apple did it all the time. I don't know that they do it so much anymore, but they made whole commercial campaigns about that. So I have no issue. I mean, it would be like comparing. Okay, we have this new lightweight car, and we're going to put a truck on a scale and show you how much heavier it is. It's just stupid. It's a stupid comparison, and I said that when I first saw it. This is an odd comparison to me. I don't understand the comparison, and there's a couple of reasons. First, because it's a computer and not a tablet, but the Surface is so confused about what it is that there's no real way to tell. And the second thing is nobody is confused here that Microsoft is actually eating its own lunch and going after its own partners. I mean, they're not really going after the MacBook Air. Nobody's going to buy a Surface instead of an Air, but an Ultrabook or something like that.
Do you think that that's going to be a winning strategy for Microsoft? Is the Surface destined to remain in a distant third place, regardless of what Microsoft tries to do, because there's so many Android tablets out there, and because Apple has for the most part, over $500 tablet market locked up? I think I've lost Jim. Yeah, Jim's gone out of the chat room. God damn it. Jim, are you there?
Man, oh man.
Yeah, your audio's been breaking up for a while. Folks have been talking about it in the chat room. I'm not sure why.
Huh.
You okay?
Well,
you okay?
Okay.
Can you hear me?
I'll go somewhere else then.
No, hang on.
I can hear you. So I've just been jabbering on to myself.
Well, it's not the first time. Just so we know. Do you think that no matter what Microsoft does, they're destined to remain in a distant third place because Android tablets are just everywhere, and Apple seems to have the high end of the market locked up?
Yeah, I really do. I think that Microsoft could have ruled this market years ago if they had done it right, but they didn't have, or at least Ballmer didn't have the foresight to do it right. It's just like BlackBerry could have ruled the smartphone market, but they were just too caught up in themselves to do it.
So no matter what Microsoft does, you think that they're pretty much lost. They're not lost, but they're destined to be where they are. That's not necessarily a bad thing, is it? I mean, third place is not bad.
Yeah, but third place in this instance, they're not really selling anything.
Yeah.
Let's not forget they had to take almost $1 billion write-off because of product that they didn't sell during one quarter last year. And the headline that I used earlier this week is Surface Pro 3, the best version of a product nobody wants.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't see anything in the Surface Pro 3 that changes my thoughts from before. I just there's nothing there for me.
It's interesting to me that the aspect that we see a lot in Microsoft's history was that it was third time was the charm. The third time they brought out a product, or the third iteration, or the third version, they seem to finally get it right. This is the Surface 3. I don't think they got it right. I think they may have broken their own record of third iteration being a good version of it. It doesn't feel, like you said, and like other folks have said, Ben Majeran among them, that Microsoft knows what they want to do with the Surface.
Well, and that's what it seems to me. Again, in one of those articles that I posted on it, I said that it just proves that Microsoft just doesn't understand.
Yeah.
They don't get this market. And if you look back a decade or so, Microsoft could pretty much dictate where the market went.
Yep.
But they're not in that position anymore, and it seems to me that they're still trying to do that. They could dictate where operating system software went because they were Windows. They could add things and take things away. They could do that with Office. They could do it with services. And whatever Microsoft did is the way that the market went. And they missed out on the phones. They missed out on the tablets.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're coming back around to say, okay, this is the way that things are going to go. And people are sitting back and saying, no.
Yeah.
No, not for us.
Yep, I agree. Well, let's talk about something that is for us. I think this has got to be the most inappropriate party location for the Beard Bash ever. You're having the Beard Bash at the Children's Creativity Museum. That just sounds wrong, man. I don't. Now, first of all, explain for those folks who may not know what the Beard Bash has been in the past, but this year it's the Alt Beard Bash. What's the difference?
Well, regardless of what it's called, it's a drunken mess.
Exactly.
It's the Alt Beard Bash I'm doing in conjunction this year with AltConf.
Mm-hmm.
And those are the people that put on the conference for people that didn't get into WWDC. They have some great speakers there. I went to AltConf last year. I know the people who run it, and I love them. They're great people. And I really like what they do. So when we were talking about this a while ago and said, yeah, let's do this. Let's do an Alt Beard Bash. And, the W really wasn't big enough to handle the type of crowd that we expected for this. So we decided to open it up to everybody and, just let the engines go.
To me is the one of the two biggest differences. The primary difference is the inappropriateness of having it at the Children's Creativity Museum, which what happens when a church gets filled with evil? What's that called?
Well, I think that the fact that we're having it at the Children's Creativity Museum really doesn't matter much because I'm going to hell anyway. So
you're just going on the express ride now. That's all.
I mean, now I have my own elevator down.
Exactly. Straight down, do not stop, go.
Yeah.
But the idea, this time, you're actually opening up to everyone who wants to RSVP. That means there's going to be a huge lineup outside, but that's pretty cool that you're opening up to the whole crowd.
When we looked at what Alt was about and what the Beard Bash is about, it's about having fun, but the Beard Bash was never about big companies.
Yeah.
You know, it was about independent developers, and there were big companies there as well, but it was the small guys, you know, that maybe didn't get an invite to the big company parties.
Mm-hmm.
And I met plenty of those people on the street outside my hotel that said, hey, you know, I hope you have a good party tonight, you know, and didn't ask for anything. And I said, well, are you going? Well, no, we didn't get an invite, but maybe next year. You know, okay, you come. Come, you know, the guy was there. One guy in particular was there with his wife and his kids. I said, but come.
Yeah.
Bring everybody. Ping me when you get to the door. Your name will be on the list. You know, that's what the beer bash was about. And we have a karaoke band. So it's a live band.
And a great karaoke band too. It's the Amazing Embarrassonics, which those guys were amazing. The one year I was there, they were just incredible. They knew every song in the world.
Yeah, they knew everything. And it was pretty incredible to watch them, because depending on what song you pick, that would determine what instruments they're going to pick. So the guitar player would go play drums, the drum player would go play bass, and the bass player would play guitar. You know, and then after that song, they'd switch up and play another song. And you know, it's just so much fun.
Yeah.
You know, listening to them go. So, you know, what better way on a Tuesday night, the keynote's over, the main part of that, you know, rush of that day is done.
Yeah.
And then you just go hang out, have a few beer, and, you know, watch drunk people embarrass the hell out of themselves. You know?
Now it's not going to be an open bar again, is it?
No, not this year.
I was going to say.
In previous years, it has been an open bar. I've paid for all the booze.
Yep.
But this year, you know, inviting everybody or giving everybody at least the opportunity to come in. We just couldn't do that.
Yeah.
You know, that just would have been too much. So one of the things that we had to do this year in order to make this work is first move it to a bigger venue. We have both floors of the children's thing. I mean, it's not like it wasn't a costly venture to do that. You know, we rented out both floors, and we had to get a cash bar. So, you know, and you know, I made that very clear in the story that it's a cash bar.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Let's move on to the story that it was kind of funny to see the typical internet Sturm und Drang about this, but Google has told the SEC that it could be sending ads to their thermostats, refrigerators, cars, apps, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Is this a big deal? This shit wasn't at least to me, it certainly wasn't unsurprising when I read the news this morning.
Wasn't surprising to me. And then, you know, I posted the story that Google to display ads and thermostats, and people were you know, yelling at me saying, "Oh, this is your biggest flame bait headline yet." You know, they're not doing it. They may do it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. All right. You know,
they're basically softening the market up for when they do it, because I have no doubt that they're actually going to do this at some point. And Google will try to tell you, will try to tell you that it's going to be, you know, subtle and that kind of stuff. But Google doesn't do advertising subtle at all.
They don't do anything subtle.
This is what we fully expected when Google bought Nest. Now, the interesting thing to me is Tony Fadell and those guys said they were against this kind of thing when the company was bought. How are they going to react to it? Because they're still under a non-compete. They're still going to be stuck at Google for you know Google made them sign a non-compete for 2 years.
Tony already came out and said it's not going to happen.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, today he came out, and as a matter of fact, Tony responded to the Loop Twitter account and said it's not going to happen. And I wrote Tony back with pretty much what I said in the thing that I just posted, and saying, you know, I really have a lot of respect for Tony and everything that he's done over the years at Nest and at Apple. And I said, lots of respect for you, Tony. It's the other guys at Google I don't trust.
Exactly.
You know, I have respect for what Sergey and Larry did at Google, but what they're doing now, I mean, there's probably lots of great things that they're in charge of, that they're doing, but the overall running of what Google is just getting so creepy. You know, it's beyond creepy these days to me.
Now, it's interesting you say that. What's creepy about this? We see advertising all the time. And you're a big fan of soccer. I'm watching soccer over the weekend because I'm frickin' bored and got nothing better to do. And I thought, where's the team called Sony from? You know, those guys have got advertising all over them. So I didn't know what the team was representing. It didn't say La Liga. It didn't say Italian whatever. It said Sony across the chest of these guys. Why are we surprised or upset over the fact that Google will be sending ads to our either apps, our Nest apps, or even sort of the actual Nest? What's the big deal? We put up with these ads all the time.
No, you're absolutely right. We do. And you know, when you go into a soccer game, you pay $100 a ticket to go in.
Yep.
And then you still get blasted with advertising.
Yep, that's right.
It's the way that things go. But Google is taking it like a step too further. Like, if you ever search for this thing, we'll show it to you on the GPS when you come up to it.
I know.
You know, I mean, come on.
Yep.
No, please don't do that, especially on a first date or something. Wow.
Here's a prime example right here on the video of the show. I did a search just out of curiosity for the Fiat 500 like a month ago, and every single frickin' ad since on my browser is for the Langley Fiat 500 company. It's like, okay, show me something different.
Yeah.
If you're going to slam me with ads, show me different, interesting, cool ads.
But I've said before as well that, you know, this is not Google's fault. This is our fault.
Sure,
I mean,
exactly.
People yell about their privacy and they do all this stuff. You know, offer them a $10 off coupon for cereal, and they'll give you everything you ever wanted to know, and they'll take the coupon and run. Well, basically, Google is offering us services, Gmail and apps, and you know, all of this kind of stuff that we go in and say, ooh, free, great, and Google wants to track us, yeah, whatever. Give me the free stuff, and you know, we're all guilty of that. We're all guilty of it. So, you know, when Google is being creepy, well, that's why they're being creepy, because we let them.
Now, I think the only complaint that people legitimately have, and Google hasn't said one way or the other about this, is that I saw John Seff on Twitter saying this. He said, yeah, but when I bought the Nest, there was no ads on it. Now, I think Google can protect themselves by saying, if you already have a Nest, app, we're not going to put apps on that because you paid whatever dollars for it. But from whatever point forward, if you buy a new Nest or if you download a new version of the app, then we're going to put ads on that. I think they've got themselves a little bit covered. But the other thing is, how often do you look at your Nest app that you're going to be bothered by ads? How often do you look at your thermostat that you're going to be bothered by an ad physically on the thermostat?
Well, yeah, but actually, you know, on Twitter, Dr. Waite, Michael Johnson, he said something a little while ago that was just brilliant. He said it perfectly. On your home thermostat, okay, no ads. But what about the next time you go to the hotel?
Oh, yeah, absolutely there'll be ads. Absolutely.
You know? I mean, there's going to be ads. And that's perfect. That's exactly the type of thing that we have to be expecting. And I don't want to see a point where we get out of buying a product and let me rephrase that. Yeah. I don't want to see a point where we buy a product but still have to have ads if we don't want it. I mean,
wait, we're already at that point. Look at the hotel. Well, I'm paying X number of dollars for the hotel room, and there's an ad on the key card.
Yeah, but that's not yours. I'm talking about if I come home and, you know, I have a picture hanging up on the wall and the frame company gets to put an ad up over my picture, you know, every 30 minutes or something. No, I don't want that. I will pay for that frame, and you don't show me the ad. You know, I don't want both. And, you know, when I look at, it's very simple, I think, when you look at some of these things, that you are either buying a product or you are the product. I mean, if you look at Apple, you are buying a product. So there you have it. Ads don't pop up on your iPad or your iPod when you're playing music because you bought this product from Apple.
Yeah.
So, you know, there's a big difference in the strategies of the companies.
It's very interesting to me to watch the people talk about this. And I completely agree with them when it comes to advertising. But to be surprised by this is silly. To complain, and I'd love to see Google say, look, we'll do what Amazon did. I think what Amazon did with the Kindle, or some versions of the Kindle, was very interesting from the point of view of, here's one version of the Kindle that will never have ads on it, and it costs you X number of dollars. Here's another version of the Kindle that will have ads, but it's X minus $50. If Nest did that, I think a lot of people would say, okay. But the problem with that is that it's that slow chipping away at these kinds of things, that sort of that slippery slope that gets you. That, all right, you pay $10 to see ads here, then you got to pay $5 to see ads here, and it goes like that.
Yeah, I more power to Tony if he can do this. I really hope that he can, and maybe that's the plan. Maybe the plan is to not have ads on the Nest at home, but have them, you know, in other areas. And you know, I figure once I'm outside of my home and I'm in a hotel room, I'm renting that. Yeah. And, you know, they have magazines there, and they have, you know, their own TV station for the hotel, and they have all, that's just stuff that, I mean, it's stuff you have to flip past, unfortunately, because I don't own it.
It's interesting you said. I can't remember the last time I turned the TV on in a hotel room. I just don't bother anymore. You do? Yeah.
I do. I turn the TV on, and because I can't sleep, so I turn the TV on, and I turn it on, you know, like History Channel or something, and just lay there with my eyes bleeding watching it.
Folks, Dr. Jim Dalrymple from The Loop at loopinsight.com. He has his own podcast called Amplified. He does it with Dan Benjamin, usually on Tuesday afternoons. There's a version of it up on the iTunes Store right now. Do a search for Jim Dalrymple or Amplified, and it will pop up on the iTunes Store. Jim, thanks very much for doing this, buddy. I really appreciate it.
Thanks a lot, Shawn.
Have a good night. See ya.
Bye.
I don't know what happened there with the video and audio. Hopefully it comes out for you folks in the archive. There goes Jim. Okay. Arkstein asked a question in the RC chat room. He said, is that photo adjusting app owned by Google too? I thought I heard that you have to use Google this and that to put photos into it. You don't have to use Google Plus at all, Arkstein, if you are using your iPad or your iOS device, your iPad or your iPhone. You do have to have a Google Plus account in order to upload those pictures and use the web version of the application. It's not a standalone app. It's in your browser. He also says, yeah, I wouldn't use that for a second. I'd expect Google to scrape my photos for all kinds of info, face recognition, and other creepy behavior. Yeah, that's certainly possible. I haven't read Google's terms of service to find out whether or not they do or do not do that. I don't use the web browser version of the app enough to worry about it. I'll do it once or twice to show off a picture to a friend. I use it on my iPad, on my iPhone, and I'm almost 100% sure that's against Apple's terms of service to scrape that information. I don't know for a fact, but it would be, I'm pretty sure, against Apple's terms of service. One of the things I real quick, I wanted to show you guys. There's a guy named Kevin Mallon. Kevin and I have known each other for years and years and years. He's the head PR guy for the nice folks at FileMaker. He's the one that suggested the interview I did last week with Ty Waller, the baseball coach for the Oakland A's, and he suggested it, and they set it up for me. And Kevin just got back from Greece, from Santorini, Greece, a place I've been to, and he posted this picture up on his Facebook page. And it was like, you know, if you've been to Santorini, you know what this picture is. This picture is a typical picture of the gorgeous walls and blue doors. Santorini, Greece is a particular shade of blue they put on a lot of things, domed buildings and doors and window shutters. And I grabbed the photo, and asked and did this, and after the fact, I asked Kevin's permission to do this. But I took the photo and brought it into Snapseed and made these changes to it. Now, can you see the changes I made to the image? Whoa, what the hell? Come back here. The image, the original is on the left. The one I played around with Snapseed is on the right. The first thing I did was I cropped the image to get rid of the, I'll show you this mouse posé. I cropped the image to get rid of this side, this bit over here that was unimportant to the image. I always tell folks that when you're taking an image, when you're taking a picture of a single thing, some sort of object, a person, a bird, a door, focus on what the most important aspect is in that image. And in this case, it was the door itself. So in that image. And in this case, it was the door itself. So I cropped out that stuff on the left-hand side that wasn't important. It was a shutter that he had left in there. And also there's a looks like a electrical cable coming down from the side there that wasn't important. So I cropped the image down to focus more on the door. I straightened it up a little bit in Snapseed, and then I made the colors pop. I oversaturated the blue of the door because I know I've been to Santorini. I know what that blue is supposed to be like. It's a very, very bright neon kind of blue. It's a gorgeous. If you ever get a chance to go, it's a gorgeous, gorgeous place to go and take photos. And that's what I did in Snapseed. And you can do that with any image that you've got. Every week I seem to talk about Snapseed and how much fun I have using it. Now, next up, we've got an interview with the folks at Print Studio. socialprintstudio.com is the website. They do a really neat thing when it comes to images and printing them off. I think it's something that we don't do nearly enough of. I've been saying on the show, we seem to take more pictures than ever before, and yet we print out fewer of those pictures than ever before. So I did an interview with the nice folks at printstud.io is the website, or socialprintstudio.com is another one of their websites. They have a free app available on the iTunes Store, and so we're going to talk to the one of the senior partners at Print Studio right after this short break. This is Your Mac Life. Hey folks, welcome back. This is Your Mac Life. I am Shawn King. I'm on the phone now with Taimur Jarahi. He is the senior partner over at a website called Print Studio, printstud.io. Taimur, how are you, sir?
I'm doing very well, Shawn. Thank you for having me on.
You're very welcome. The company is a Social Print Studio. Tell me about who and what Social Print Studio is.
Social Print Studio started about and the company kind of began as an art project for him. He started by creating Facebook friend posters, which was a product that allowed people to go onto a website online, connect their Facebook, and a poster would be created with all of their friends' profile pictures in a grid on one poster. And he started printing those out and sending them to people basically just as an art project. And Instagram was released around that time, and he realized, oh, if I'm already printing Facebook, I can start printing Instagram. So in that way, we became the first company to start printing Instagram. And as the company grew, I came on, started helping them process orders and answer the few customers that we were getting, and it kept growing and growing, and here we are today.
I love the idea. Folks, you guys have all heard me talk about photography, and one of the aspects of photography that I personally think is very important is the social aspect of it, the idea of sharing your photos among family, among friends, even of strangers on, as Tamor says, on Instagram or Facebook or Twitter. But the other aspect of photography that I think is sometimes overlooked is the idea of printing them out, of having a hard copy that you can either give to family, give to friends, give to grandma who may not have a computer or may not be proficient in Facebook and things like that. And that seems to be a focus of you folks at Print Studio, isn't it? The idea of a physical copy of my Instagram or my iPhone shots, right?
Absolutely. I mean, it's such an old idea, but it just kind of got lost once photography became digitized.
Yeah. But
I like I said, I started doing the customer service, and that was pretty much the main thing that I would see people say to us so often was like, I'm just so happy I can print my photos again. It definitely was kind of a lost art that we and we're happy to be providing the service to people. It feels awesome to get letters like that.
Yeah, well, because one of the things is, folks try to print things out on their home or their office inkjet, and pictures don't come out very well because those aren't designed for photography. The paper isn't right. The paper isn't right. The ink jams up, or you only print to your inkjet once a month, and the inkjet gets all clogged up, and it just turns out badly. So it's great to have professionals that will be able to print these things out for you on professional quality equipment. Let's talk a little bit about the app itself. It's downloadable from the iOS store. It's a simple, you go to the iTunes store, do a search for Print Studio, and it pops up. Does every photo I take on my iPhone, is that suitable for printing off for Print Studio, or do they have to be a certain resolution or size, or give us an idea of how the process works from the iPhone?
Well, we have several format sizes available on our app, and if you happen to choose a photo that was, maybe someone texted you a photo and you added it to your camera roll so you didn't have the high-res version of the photo, yeah, our app will actually let you know, hey, this photo that you selected isn't meeting our resolution quality standards, so maybe try choosing a different photo. So okay, we have that built in. You're not going to get any photos that are pixelated or poor quality in any way.
Yeah, that's a big help to let folks know who don't know what the resolution of their photos is. Yeah. The vast majority of folks have no clue what the resolution of their photo is, but a lot of folks have printed things off and gone, why does this photo look so bad? Well, it's because you're up-resing it, or you're trying to increase the size of a photo that looks fine on your iPhone screen but doesn't blow up to 8.5 by 11. The other thing I like about Print Studio is the wonderful wide range of photo products that you guys offer. Everything. I'll let you tell us about it. Tell us about the range of products that folks can print off from Print Studio app.
Yeah, we've been having a lot of fun with we print some of our products. A lot of our products are prototyped here in our studio, mm-hmm, and then we print in Santa Cruz. We've started to maybe source with a printer in Oregon. We used to print in Hollywood, and we also print in Taiwan as well. Wow. Just to get our international customer base to order as fast as possible. Mm-hmm. Try and get a feel for what do we like, what do we think our customers are going to like, and just the process of prototyping these products has been so much fun. And like the photo strips that we now offer started because we were printing out our grid posters that people were so familiar with, and one day we just had some extra ones lying around, and we cut them. We cut the grid down the grid line, and we were like, hey, this reminds me of a photo strip. Sure, yeah. And so then that was just born right there, and we started offering that product. Same thing with our large format prints that we offer on the app. We were just messing around with photos that we had in-house, and we were like, hey, how big can we print this? We have the printers right here. Let's see what we can do. And just taking an iPhone photo that we had on our phone, printing out as big as we possibly could, just the feel of holding your iPhone photos in like an 11 by 14 size just felt awesome. So we threw that on the app too. So a lot of it's just this organic process of like, what's fun? What should we be putting on there?
Can you
and a lot of the comments were ones that people just loved from Instagram and Print Studio.
Sorry, Tamor, folks. I'm talking to Tamor, and I got to get his last name right. Where is it? Jarahi. My apologies, Tamor. He's the
no problem.
He's the senior partner over at Print Studio. Printstud.io is the website. I didn't realize you could print off an iPhone image at those kind of sizes. I'm on the website looking at the large format prints, and they start at $30, but you can do 8 by 10s, 11 by 14s, 16 by 20s, and 20 by 30s. A regular iPhone shot can be blown up to 20 by 30.
Yeah, I mean, especially with the new 5Ss that are out now, they give you like those photos. You can take really high resolution photos with iPhone cameras. I mean, it gets better and better with every model. So we're just trying to take advantage of it and give people the best photos.
A good size image. Really cool to see an iPhone shot blown up to that size, that poster.
Yeah, it's awesome. I can hook you up with a gift code, Shawn. I'd be happy to try it for yourself.
Thanks very much. And I'll definitely take advantage of that, because there are some photos that just beg to be printed, don't they? I'm not talking about the average everyday photo that you take of, your selfies and things like that, but there are some photos that really, really are just better at a large file format, or a large size, aren't they?
Definitely. We get a lot of landscape photos at that size that always turn out really well. And vacation photos are also really popular. We have some people do their special art projects to us. They'll have their entire series of their drawings printed out a large format to us. So
now, one of the things that
there's a lot of interesting things coming to it.
Sorry, one of the things that the nerds will ask me about is, what about the paper? What about the physical nature of, I say, a large format print? Tell folks what kind of paper you're using, and I know I see on your website it says archival photo paper, and a lot of folks may not understand what that is, but explain that to us too.
Yeah, we use Fuji Color professional paper. It's pretty much an industry standard for photo paper, and we love the weight and feel of it, the way that the photos pop on the paper. It looks good to us. We have all of our photos printed on it, so we stuck with it. We also can do special orders if you would like a specific type of paper for your prints. We can, if you just contact us at hello@sps.io. We're more than happy to meet special requests for printing as well.
And again, all this is done directly from the iPhone. All the ordering, all the choosing of the photos, the iPhone app can do all this stuff directly from the phone. You can do it off the website. You can do it off your desktop, but it's got to be a lot of fun to be able to do it right directly from the phone. Yeah,
it's definitely the world is moving to mobile, so we just went right along with it. And I think actually just recently we've started to notice that more of our orders are coming from mobile than online.
Interesting, really.
Yeah, it's kind of a milestone for us. Yeah.
I can see, I can see doing that at, you're sitting with friends and you're just taking a picture of some of your friends. Maybe it's a selfie, maybe it's not, and then saying, I'll send this to you. I'll get this printed off right then and there, or very, very quickly. What's the process like between the time I print something off or choose something in the app to me getting it in the mail? How long does that generally take?
Worst case scenario, it takes about a week, and best case scenario, you'll have it in 2 to 3 days.
That's not bad.
So, yeah, not bad at all. We get people on Twitter all the time saying like, I ordered on Monday and it's in my hands on Wednesday. So we love shout outs like that. And we, if there's ever like any sort of a shipping problem or anything like that, I can't say enough about our customer service team at this point. We really know how to make lemonade out of lemons. So if there's ever any problem, we're more than happy to make it right.
I'm on the website printstud.io, Print Studio, printstud.io. To have everything from the were kids, remember going into the local mall and getting a photo strip shot, to even things like calendars and stickers and even fridge magnets. I love the idea of fridge magnet of your Instagram, your photo pictures.
Yeah, I think those are our newest thing. It's our newest offering, actually.
And also T-shirts too. And now, do you guys do business cards?
We have a product called contact cards because we couldn't decide if they would be for business or pleasure. And they work. Or you can upload your own background as well. So we gave everyone a couple options to choose from, or you can upload whatever back you'd like on the cards, and then you can just go through and choose whatever photos you'd like to be on the reverse.
Another example of something that we don't do enough that we see, we'll walk through a Walmart or walk through a Target and we'll see all those photo frames, and pictures look great when they're framed, and they're great gifts to give folks too. Tell us about the kind of photo frames and frame prints that you at Print Studio offer.
Right, the frame department started last year when we were all living in our house in Berkeley together, and we kind of just started in the basement, and it's taken off, and we're in our SF studio now. Everyone's outside the door right now, working in the production department, framing and rolling up posters. But our standard 12 by 12 black frame, it's about the size of a vinyl record, and we have several different layout options for that. You can get a grid of 4 by 4 photos, 3 by 3, 2 by 2, or one photo matted and framed in the center.
Mm-hmm.
And at this point, I think we have a couple different color options for the frames as well. I think we have red frame, blue frame, white frame. And we have a shop that's also linked to printstud.io where you can go on and choose one of several different types of frame styles that we offer. We do reclaimed wood frames from blocks that we built.
Or, as the website says, hand assembled. These aren't the cookie cutter ones that we would see in Target and that kind of thing. You guys are building this stuff in house.
Yeah, we're doing them all right here.
And did you say you can choose recycled wood or reclaimed wood, or is that
right.
all of them are recycled or reclaimed?
No, those are just some options that we have online.
Yeah. Interesting that you would do it that way, because it's obviously a little bit more expensive, but it certainly helps in any number of ways. A small little bit of help to the planet, and they're not plastic either. They're actual wood frames.
Yeah, I mean, I think we might have taken this down, but when we were trying to write copy for our website, like funny little things we can say about the products. I think one of the things we said about the reclaimed wood frames was this probably used to be some hippie's boat or something like that. I mean, this is like wood that was, pulled, is being repurposed.
That's right. If that makes you feel better, think of it that way. It's from a hippie's boat. There you go. The other aspect of it too is, now what's the difference between a poster and a large format print? I don't know the difference between the two formats.
Well, the poster is more based off that original Facebook friend poster that we had designed, so it's a grid of photos. So you can have 200 photos on one poster, compared to the large format prints would just be one select photo that you want blown up.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you can also get them in the same gigantic size, the 20-inch by 30-inch, the almost 2 foot by almost 3 foot size.
Yeah, for those good posters, yeah.
Do you got one of the issues? I remember back in the day, it used to be when you went to your local drugstore to get things printed out, was color correction. Do you guys do anything along those lines to boost color, to saturate color, or do you manipulate the images in any way? Give the audience a sense of what happens when I send you the image.
We do use some image magic to make sure that all the photos are preserving the color that we get, whether it be from your desktop photos, your Instagram photos, your Facebook photos.
Mm-hmm.
And we actually have a pretty strong quality control team where if we notice any sort of color issues, we contact the customer directly and say, hey, just so you know, your face looks extremely red in this photo. Do you want us to kind of tweak with it, kind of mess with it a little bit to make it look a little bit better? So, yeah, when we set up a photo process, it catches 90% of the photos, but there's still that 10% variation. So we go out of our way to double check photos.
So it's pretty much what you see is what you get. What you see on your iPhone is going to be what you're going to get when you do an order through Print Studio.
Exactly, and if not, we'll contact you. Yeah.
What about the idea of giving these things as gifts? Can I buy something online? Can one of the audience members buy something online and send it to grandma, send it to their sister? Can they do those kinds of things?
Well, you can put whatever shipping address you'd like once you order
Cool.
some photos, but we also offer gift codes as well. If you don't know exactly what photos your sister might want to choose from her feed or from her desktop, you can just send her a gift card via email with a nice little email template that we have set up.
Okay, cool. So you can, the same sort of gift cards you would get elsewhere, you can also buy those at Print Studio.
Yeah. And they actually work for Print Studio and a couple of our other sites as well.
How about the T-shirts too? It's kind of a neat idea. You see grandmas all the time with T-shirts of their grandkids on them. The same sort of idea with T-shirts.
Yeah, the T-shirts did really well for Mother's Day. Actually,
yeah, I can imagine.
We saw a big boost in T-shirts for Mother's Day. I guess people figured Mom wants me on her shirt.
Yeah. So. Speaking of that, is your business cyclical? I mean, do you notice a ramp up around Mother's Day or around Christmas or that kind of thing? Or
Mother's Day,
really?
Mother's Day for sure. But I mean, come Christmas time, I mean, this is like Santa's workshop in here. We have to bring in elves from outside to help out. You know?
That's funny. Yeah, I'm glad to see that people are, know about the company and are using it, because, like I said off the top, some of your pictures just cry out to be printed. I know I've got dozens and dozens. I don't have my old Epson printer anymore, so I know there are shots that I would love to see printed out. Folks, if you're listening, don't just have all your photos on your iPhone or just on Instagram or just on Facebook. Pick some of the ones that you really, really like and go on over to printstud.io, printstudio.com, and print some of these things out. Have some of these things printed out on nice cardstock. It's not your office printer. It's not that cheap paper that you're stealing from work. These are going to be really good, high quality photos. I still remember as a kid being so excited about going to the drugstore and picking up that little package of photos and flipping through them with my mom and my little brothers, and how much joy you got out of holding a photo in your hand. I don't know what that's all about, but there's a difference in seeing a photo in that kind of format than it is handing someone your iPhone or things like that. So it's definitely something I encourage folks to go do. Let's talk about pricing for a little bit. Let's say somebody wanted to get one of the 20-inch by 30-inch, say, posters. What's the price of a poster?
I have to double check, but I'm pretty sure. Large format posters. I think you can get a set of 4 of the 11 by 14s for $30,
mm-hmm.
and then we do a set of 2 of the 16 by 20 inches for $30.
Okay.
And you can get 1 of the giant 20 by 30s for $30 as well.
It's not bad. It's not bad for a custom poster. That's pretty doggone good.
Yeah. And our shipping prices stay fixed. So it doesn't matter how many things you order, it's the same shipping.
Mm-hmm.
And some of our photo strips though are pretty good. You can get 9 photo strips, 36 photos for $10. And our magnets and our buttons as well, 15 and 15 for $12. So we have a bunch of different options on there, a bunch of different price brackets for all sorts of budgets.
Just checking on the website, for example, folks, the square prints, the squares that measure 4 by 4, and the app will help you crop your photos down to that 4 by 4 grid, right?
Yeah, that's right.
It says $12 for a set of 24, so 50 cents for a photo. You can't beat that. That's just a great way of getting some of these images off your phone and into someone's hands. It's really a neat way to do it. And these are printed on the same kind of what's called archival quality paper as, say, the large format stuff is?
Our photo prints are actually printed on a 300 GSM matte finish paper, so it has a little bit of a different feel than the posters, but it's for that size and kind of hold that smooth.
After them.
This can hang on your wall. So.
whenever you look for printing, folks, or anyone else, look for those words and make sure they're actually using what they call archival quality. It's the kind of stuff that archives use to have stuff lying around or have stuff on paper for hundreds of years. I think the base for archiving is, I think the base standard for it is 50 years. So, you know, these are the kind of prints that if you put in a frame and keep out of direct sunlight, obviously, will last you for quite a long time. Again, the website is printstud.io, Print Studio. Now, the app on the iOS store, is there any cost for the app?
The app is free to download.
Yeah, it's got a great price, folks. Check it out. Go to the iOS store, the iTunes store. Do a search for Print Studio. Check it out. You can play around with it. You don't have to order anything, but you can play around with it and see how the app looks. But like I've always been telling folks, there's something about having a physical hard copy of an image that you can give to friends, that you can give to family. It's a wonderful feeling. So definitely check it out. Prices are good too. So I want to say thanks very much to the folks at Print Studio for creating this. It's kind of neat. And also thanks to Taimur Jarahi. He is the senior partner over there at Print Studio. Thanks very much, Taimur. I really appreciate you doing this.
Thank you, Shawn. It was great talking to you.
Welcome back, folks. Thanks very much for joining us here this Wednesday evening, or on the archive if you so choose. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the interview with Taimur from Print Studio. Socialprintstudio.com's website, or printstud.io is the other URL for their app. You can download the app off the App Store. Go to the App Store, do a search for Print Studio, and it will pop up for you. Play around with it. See if it's something you like. It's interesting. Arcsign jokingly in our IRC chat room was saying, who wants physical copies of photos anymore? Who wants to deal with photo albums? And you're right for the most part. There are obviously still some people who do want to, maybe your grandma or someone from a different generation, but for the most part, yeah, most of us don't print out photos anymore. But there are still that occasional photo that would be nice to see in a physical media. I mean, one of my favorite, I was during the interview with Taimur, I was showing off some of the pictures I got printed off from Print Studio, and one of them is just, let me see if I can't find it here real quick, one of my favorite pictures that I will keep forever and a day just because of the subject matter, and here I am filling while I try to dig this picture. Where are you? You were here just a second ago. Where'd it go? Oh, yeah, this picture. This is a picture of me and my niece, Emily. And this is going to hang up on my fridge. This picture of my sweet little sister, she was 6 years old at the time. I think she's 9 now. This is the picture I'm going to put up on my fridge because I just love the smile in her face. I remember the moment when this happened. I remember handing my camera to my little sister, Melanie, and Mel taking this picture, and the picture came out really, really nice. And that's a picture that's a keepsake. And like I said, it's archival paper. It's going to last forever. It's a nice shot. I love the image. There's the other thing is about the Print Studio stuff is, and I wasn't expecting this, although I should have known, black and white comes out gorgeous. This is, you guys remember when we were talking about the photo shoot I went out with Vito Mori and this goth chick who I took a photo of from across the street. Now, the original image shot from my D600 she was this big in the image. Then I cropped it down. Then you Snapseed to make it black and white and make it pop. But it printed off like this. It looks really, really good. I don't know if you can really capture it on the video, but in black and white, this picture looks fantastic. Same with the picture of the old man that I shot. This one, again, in black and white, looks fantastic, printed off this way. And so, yeah, not every single picture, you don't need to do this for every single picture. But for the ones that where it works really, really well. Mosquito said, sounds like a nice source for potential gifts. Last time I tried to generate an inkjet print of a photo for a friend, it was 2 hours of color correction, wasted print paper, and spit and blood. Yeah. The vast majority of us don't have time, the energy, or the interest to mess around with color correction and all that kind of stuff. Or we may not even have an inkjet printer. I haven't had a printer, period, in probably 10 years. I haven't had an inkjet one for longer than that, obviously. My printing has always been laser printing. But you're not going to print pictures off in a laser printer, at least not a home-based laser printer. But maybe there's some times when you just want to get pictures off the digital format, off your iPad screen, or off your iPhone, or off your laptop, and physically hand a picture to somebody and let them see. Now, there's the downside to Print Studio. One of the problems is that the process of, I got 48 prints for, I think, 25 bucks. The downside is every single one of those images you have to go in individually and manually crop. Now, most of the time the crop is going to be good, depending on the size of your image, but sometimes you have to choose the crop. And this is an example of a crop I didn't like, but I didn't have much of a choice. This is shot, obviously, at the Golden Gate Bridge at the tourist area there. But the problem is the picture itself had much more of the sailor statue here on this side and much more of the Golden Gate Bridge over here on this side. So I'm not happy with the crop on this particular image. But for the most part, they came out really well. The other downside is because this is a matte paper as opposed to a gloss that you would get at, say, Walmart or London Drugs or that kind of stuff, the pictures, the images don't pop as much as I was expecting. They're not bad, but they don't look as saturated or as bright as they did on my computer screen. I still like them, and I still happily recommend Print Studio to anyone who wants to get images off their devices. For example, here's a shot. This is an illegal picture. I told the story about this shot of the Statue of David in the Uffizi Gallery in Florence that I took off my iPhone. And this is obviously bigger than my iPhone screen. So this image is now better, and it looks the same as it does on my iPhone screen. So actually, I'm going out tomorrow to look for backdrops for this wall right here, for you folks watching the video. Because what I want to do is I want to start sticking things to the wall behind me. I don't want to stick nails in the wall or thumbtacks or anything else like that. But what I want to do is find some fabric that I can then take these photos and stick the photos up on fabric. I think it'd be kind of cool. I've also got waiting for a 54-image poster from the folks at Print Studio too, and I want to see how that one comes out too. So check it out. Let me know if you're going to use the service, if you have used the service or will use the service, or you think it's something of interest. And they've got a wide range of stuff, everything from business card type things to little tiny photo books, framed pictures, all that kind of stuff. So check it out at printstudio.com. Next up is, I told you guys earlier about the Bloedel Conservatory. It is a fairly small wildlife conservatory, flora and fauna, tropical. They've got all kinds of different kinds of parrots and all kinds of some beautiful orchids in the Bloedel Conservatory. And it's small. Like I said before, some of you got backyards that are as big as the Bloedel Conservatory. And you can walk through it in 5 minutes, but you're not going to, because it's really, really pretty. It's really, really a very, very pretty area to go. So I went there this past Sunday with my friend Leslie. Now, Leslie is not a photographer. Leslie is, she'll shoot. She's typical of the vast majority of people. She shoots with her iPhone, and she's generally happy with her iPhone shots. So we go. I told her I wanted to go and take pictures, and she wanted to come along. So I brought along with me my great big Nikon D600, my baby, my favorite camera that I enjoy immensely to shoot. I've never been to Bloedel, even though I lived here in Vancouver for 12 years. And typical, if you're not a tourist, you don't go to the touristy type places. But because I wanted to take pictures, I knew the Bloedel would be a cool place. So I took the Brian Monroe says, Shawn, make sure you get some fabric that could double as a green screen for chroma keying. Yeah, I'm not doing that. I'm not chroma keying. That just seems to be too much work. But I also took the lovely little Olympus OMD EM1 camera. And so we get in the conservatory, and I said to Leslie, I said, do you want to shoot some photos? And she was like, and just to be nice, she goes, oh, okay, fine. So I turned the camera on macro mode because I knew we were going to be shooting flowers. And so I basically set it up as a point and shoot camera for her. Gave her maybe 5 minutes of instruction of this is what you'll see on screen. Here's how to see the picture you took. There's the viewfinder. Here's the zoom on the lens. Go nuts. So we're walking around and we're taking pictures. And this is, as I said in my story at startingpointphotography.com, I love taking photos. It's a real joy of mine, but I love helping other people learn to take photos even more. It was so much fun having her take a picture and then want to show it to me. You know, she would push the preview button and like what she saw on the camera and went, here, look at this, look at this. It was so much fun to see her having fun taking pictures. And so what we started doing was a little bit of a photo class there. So, okay, that's a great shot. Try this next time. And one of the funny things was because we were using a, I don't know if I have it here in hand, a great big zoom lens. Because like I said, I'd never been to the conservatory before, so I thought the birds would be far away. So I put a 75 300mm zoom on the M1. So there were times when she was too close to the image. 75mm means you've got to be about 6 feet away from a bird, but some of the birds were fairly close. And she said she'd take a picture. She goes, oh, I didn't get that one. And I said, why not? She said, well, I'm too close. And I sort of laughed at her and said, well, then just back up. And she was like, oh, yeah. It's something beginners don't think about. You don't think about the fact that you'll get to a spot and you'll take a picture, and if the picture doesn't come out, you just go, okay, and you move on. Instead of looking at, and this is what I talk about in the photography class, look at the image, figure out why the image didn't work. Was it because you were too close? Was it because you were too far away? Was the angle wrong? There was many times when we were taking pictures of these birds where the birds weren't facing us. You know, the birds had turned around. Well, move around as you're allowed to, depending on the space you're in. If the bird is facing that way, well, go walk over there and take the picture from over there. If the bird is sleeping, wait. The bird will wake up. Or, as we would do, is make cat noises, which, yeah, woke them up too. Not loud. We weren't yelling at the birds or anything else like that. But patience is something that you had to really cultivate. There was this great shot of, I don't even know what kind of birds these are, but they were so cute. And so many of these birds were bright colors. Just amazingly bright reds and greens and blues, just startlingly bright colored birds. But you would take a picture of these little, I think they were some kind of finch, of these birds eating, and the first picture didn't come out because you got birds bobbing up and down trying to get seed. Well, keep taking pictures. You're digital. You don't have to just take one picture anymore. You have to get out of that film mindset where every shot you took with film cost you money. With digital, you can keep shooting until your card fills up. You can just keep shooting to your heart's content. So if that one shot didn't work, try another one. Try another one. Keep shooting until you get the image that you want, the image that you think is in your mind's eye. So we kept walking around the conservatory, and I kept pointing out things to her, and she would ask me questions, and we started talking about focus points and moving the camera. A lot of consumer level, even point and shoots, but even certainly every prosumer, every consumer DSLR, most point and shoots, and a lot of beginners don't know this, there's this idea of the half press. Now, you don't have this on the iPhone. You can't do this on the iPhone. But on your shutter button at the top of your camera, most cameras nowadays will allow you to look through the viewfinder, whether you're looking through the screen or looking through the optical viewfinder, and just press the shutter button down halfway. Now, obviously, the full way takes the picture. But if you press it down halfway, what it will do is it will generally, on most cameras, lock the focus on that thing. You look through the viewfinder, you look through the screen, and you'll often see a green or a red on my Nikon or some other black on some cameras. A little square will pop up. And so that means it's locked the focus on that square. As long as you don't take your finger off that half press, you can move the camera around. And your camera will continue to be focused on that one spot. So what you can do is I told her to frame up the bird that she wanted and then do the half press, and then she can move the camera around. So get the bird in the center, and you want to focus everything. I've always said, every photographer says, if it has eyes, focus on the eye. That's what you always want to do is make the eye in focus. So focus on the bird's eye. Get that you'll hear a little beep in the camera. Let's turn the camera on. You can probably hear the beep if I do it correctly. That little beep meant that the camera's focus is now locked on that spot. Now I can go ahead and take a picture. It took a picture very slowly because obviously it's not set up correctly. But that's what you do. Take that half press. It means you've locked the focus in. And as long as your object doesn't move, your focus will stay there as long as you can move the camera around as much as you want. So press halfway, lock the focus, and then recompose. What that means is you can move around a little bit. You can move the bird off to the side. I don't know if you guys can see this in this camera, but it's got, there's a face detect. Now you won't be able to see it, but it's got a grid system. And what we say, never put something important in the center of that grid. If you think of a tic-tac-toe board, it's called the rule of thirds. So keep that in mind next time you're shooting. You don't have to take just one shot. You don't have to just take one picture if you don't like what's happening in the viewfinder with that one shot. Be patient. Take more than one picture. On the Starting Point Photography site where I posted my images from the Bloedel photo shoot, there is a very funny picture of this really gorgeous bird, and I have no idea what kind of bird this was. Let me just pull this picture up. Bright red head. As someone, I think Mosquito said in the chat room earlier, that it looked like a turkey dressed up to go to dinner, a formal dinner. It's just a beautiful bird. But I waited. Why is that doing that? Okay. But I waited and waited and waited, probably for a good 10-15 minutes, for this bird to walk in front of this sign, keep out staff only sign. I just thought the juxtaposition was funny. And the thing was, I could visualize that shot before I took the picture. I wasn't surprised by the shot. I knew what I wanted in this shot. I had the camera set up with the right aperture, with the right shutter speed, with the right ISO, because I knew this was going to be the shot. I saw the shot before the bird got anywhere near it, and I was ready to take the shot. You'll get better pictures if you're ready before the shot happens. In other words, you don't want to be surprised and just sort of snapping away. Because what happens when you get surprised, and this is where I prove to myself I'm still a freaking amateur when it comes to photography. We're walking around and we see these, I think they're called scarlet macaws. I'm not exactly sure what the name of the bird is. But there was these two scarlet macaws that were just having the most fun, just stupid amounts of fun in a shower. They'd set up a water hose, just a garden hose, to spray water up in the air onto this one branch that the birds were sitting in. And this one bird just was having so much fun, just flapping her wings. Turns out I found it later from the Bloedel people. This is Carmen and Miranda are the name of the two parrots in this picture. But this one was just flapping her wings and dancing in the water and spinning her head, just having a great time in the water. So I start taking pictures of the bird, and nothing is coming out. They're just all crap. I probably took 10, 20 really crappy pictures. They were too dark, or they were too blurry, or whatever it was. I was getting so frustrated until I realized, calm down, just relax, think about what's going wrong with the image. Why is it blurry? Why is it dark? And I started to play around with the settings in the camera. And because it was my camera, because I had learned the camera, because I knew I'd read the manual, I bought other books, I'd learned about the camera, I knew that, okay, it's dark where the bird is, so I need to increase my ISO a little bit. I need to open up my aperture a little bit to let more light in, and I need to slow my shutter speed down. So these shots were shot, normally I was shooting the birds at an aperture of 4, so it's fairly tight aperture or large opening aperture, and at a ISO of 200. So I cranked the ISO up to 800 and lowered the shutter speed to 1/125th of a second. And that's why you can see in these bird shots, the droplets of water behind the bird are sort of blurry or look like they're moving. And it was so much fun to sit there and be able to mess around with this. Once I understood what I was doing wrong, once I thought about what I was doing wrong, I ended up with some really nice pictures of this silly bird playing in the water. But like I said, I probably took 20 or 30 shots that were just awful, just like embarrassingly bad photos that were completely unusable because they were so bad. So that's where it comes in, where you got to focus on what you're shooting at and know your camera and know how to make adjustments in the camera. Last week we were talking about leaving your camera on auto, and that's fine. You can leave your camera on auto if that's what you're comfortable with. Where'd it go? Leslie was shooting on auto with this M1 camera, and she was getting some great shots. But she wasn't getting the same kind of shots of this particular bird in this particular lighting condition that I was, because on auto, it couldn't capture these images. It just simply, you had to know more about photography. You had to know more about shooting in order to be able to get these pictures with that challenging light condition. And although I will admit, I'll be the first one to admit that Leslie did get a couple of really nice shots with this wonderful artistic blur. And I say artistic, but it wasn't, because it was just a complete fluke. But she got this great shot of the bird spinning its head back and forth, getting its feathers wet and just enjoying being a wet bird. It was like I said, it was hilarious watching how much fun this bird was having. She got some nice accidental art shots because of the blur of the bird. We sat there and she took, I think, a little over 200 photos, I think 211 photos, and I'd say maybe 10 of them came out really, really nice. I took almost 400 photos, and I posted 35 of them. Out of that 35, I'd say 15 of them were really nice shots I really, really liked. And that's not a bad ratio. And you think to yourself, wow, you took 400 pictures and only got 15, 20 good ones? It's less than 10%. It's 5%. That's not bad. That's not bad at all, because, again, I'm a beginner. I'm a vaguely talented amateur, and that's the ratio I expect. I took a lot of really bad pictures, but you can't feel bad about that, folks. You can't feel bad about taking bad pictures. Our friend Mo in the IRC chat room had a great comment when I was chatting to him this afternoon. He said, cameras like this, like my Nikon D600, intimidate him. And I understand that. I completely accept the fact that this can be an intimidating camera. There's 800 buttons on this thing. This is a professional level camera that you think, there's no way I could ever shoot with that. But I can set it to manual and take perfectly good shots with it. But that's where a camera that's less intimidating, like the new mirrorless cameras, like a point and shoot, especially one of the newer point and shoots, can really help you become a better photographer, because it takes, in theory, the intimidation factor out, hopefully. That because it's smaller, because it's got fewer buttons, because it seems to be more user-friendly, you'll get better shots, or you'll take more shots with a camera that's user-friendly like this. It's all about shooting. It's all about what you want to shoot, what makes you comfortable to shoot, and your own personal reasons for shooting. I'm more and more impressed by this M1 whenever I use it or whenever I give it to someone else. I was saying earlier, I think in the pre-show, I'm going up this weekend to do some more shooting. I'm thinking about not bringing the Beast. I'm really thinking about not bringing it, because this has always been my security blanket. The D600 has always been my security blanket. I know I can get good pictures with the Beast. What happens if I just take the small one? What if I just go with this little tiny lens and this little tiny camera? Can I get the shots I expect? I don't know. We'll see. That's the starting point photography tip of the week. And basically the tip is just keep shooting. Just learn how to use your camera. Practice with the camera. And if there's a bird conservatory somewhere in your area, I know when I lived in Pittsburgh, they had a wonderful butterfly conservatory. If there's that kind of thing in your neighborhood, go to it, because it will help you take pictures that you will enjoy. From the point of view of, these kinds of birds are really pretty, really beautiful colors on them, and really and they sit still. And it really can help you boost your confidence as a photographer, taking good pictures like this. And then you can start maybe extending your range of pictures of things that you might want to shoot. So check that out. As always, check out the website. StartingPointPhotography.com is the website. If you're on Facebook, you can do a search for us at Starting Point Photography on Facebook. As always, the Your Mac Life show has a Facebook page. Do a search there for the Your Mac Life. Now, there's two of them. There's a page and a group. I have no idea what the hell the difference in a page and a group is on on Facebook. Join the one that's got the most recent story. I don't know which one that is, but there's two, a page and a book. So check those out. That's it, folks. Thank you guys very much for joining me. I appreciate you guys being here, as always, here on the Wednesday evenings or in the archive. If you're enjoying the show, send me an email to onair@yourmaclifeshow.com. Love getting emails from you guys during the week, during the show, whenever you so choose. So until next week, as always, I appreciate you guys being here. As always, I've been Shawn King, and you've been listening to Your Mac Life. See ya!